been natural 13 years, and in that time, I've picked up on a thing or two that just doesn't work for my hair. Hello everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel. And we're gonna get right into the first thing that I found doesn't work well for my hair, and that's damp styling. I see people doing it. It seems to be very popular. It seems to work for a lot of people. I can understand it in theory where it wouldn't cause a lot of dilution of the product and stuff like that. But for me, it just makes my hair so frizzy. And I have a couple of products that recommend that you style it that way, so I've tried it that way. The first thing that comes to mind is the Earth Tones Naturals Gel. They want you to style on damp hair, and there is a video of me actually following the directions. And the hair didn't feel good. It didn't look good. I don't know what it is about my hair, but it just needs lots of water or to be styled directly in the shower for the best curl definition to come through. This next thing, there's a caveat, okay? So Uncle Funky's daughter, okay? If I am using it the way that is commonly and most popularly done, it does not work for me. And the recommendation is like more and more and more water, which is funny because I just said damp styling doesn't work for me. More water is better. But in the situation of Uncle Funky's daughter, the product just becomes not slippery. It like catches when I try to pull it through my hair, and then the result doesn't look that great. So I have found that for me personally, to make this work, I have to go like off the beaten path and do something that other people don't do, and that is apply a lot more product. I have to apply a pretty healthy amount of Uncle Funky's daughter to get it to slip and to behave more like the other products I like to use. So that is why you do not see tons of Uncle Funky's daughter use on my channel, because I have to use so much of it to get it to do what less of other products would do. And I know it is really popular because so many new things are coming out on the market in this area, but tool styling. Yes, I see all the brushes. The girlies are loving the brushes. Back in the day, all we really had was that Denman brush, which is a blow dry brush, by the way. And I didn't get down with it then, and I just know that I shouldn't do it now because it's going to be the same result. But my hair, when brush styled, the top part is completely undefined. The bottom part may separate into curls, but again, like I said, the top part is not defined, so it doesn't match. And then also what can happen is that the hair is just completely undefined, just brushed out and blow out looking from root to tip. So brush styling, tool styling. I've also did a video that was a 3-row comb. You guys can check that out. This stuff just doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work very well for my hair. So sorry to the diffusing girlies, but diffusing just, it's not that diffusing doesn't work. I just think that I'm not willing to give it the time that it would take for it to work. Diffusing my hair is like, first of all, the effort of having to hold my arm up and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just like I'm holding it there and it's not, I don't feel like it's getting drier. So I think that the time that I would have to take to fully get good results from diffusing my hair, it would have to be a very long time. In fact, I went to the hair salon. Whenever I would go to Jarelli, she would dry my hair under the dryer for the most part, right? Then of course the ends are hanging out because my hair is long. So then I would get in a chair and then she leans the chair back, and then she's coming in with 2 diffusers and she's like this on the ends trying to diffuse the ends, and like it works, like I said, but just the amount of time that it takes, the fact that she has 2 diffusers at the same time, yeah, diffusing is just not ideal for my hair. It just takes too long. Instead, I treat my hair dryer like it's one big diffuser, and so I do flip my hair different directions and stuff like that while I sit under there, and that does seem to have an effect, but actually using a real diffuser, no ma'am. I know this is super popular. I know this is super popular, but the pineapple, hear me out. Now, I do have some old content, so I'm like, Kayla, I've seen a video of yours where you're talking about the pineapple. So back in the day, I had like much more exaggerated layers and my hair was a little bit shorter. So what I would do is I would do the pineapple on the first day, which would direct the hair up, and it would stretch the back out just a little bit to kind of control the shape of my hair, and then I would not do it anymore from there on out. Nowadays, depending on the combo that I've used, like my hair just develops way too much volume across the top, way too much for my liking. I'm not really worried about affecting the shape of my hair as much anymore because my hair is a lot heavier now that it is longer. But it does affect the shape of the hair. That's kind of why originally I stopped doing it, because the back would get really, really, really stretched out if I continue to do it the entire week. So I don't like the effect on the shape of my hair, and I don't like the extra volume at the roots because I have thick, big hair anyway. I'm gonna get volume without doing that. So the pineapple girl, no, she's not how I preserve my hair at night. I don't hear as many people talking about this one, but it was extremely popular a while ago, and that was shingling. You know, maybe I'm not doing it right. Because I feel like when I go in my hair, I don't see those clear sections with which to shingle it out. And then even if I do see them, I still feel like I'm like arbitrarily just picking sections. I don't feel like I'm doing something effective or productive. I don't think I'm getting something that is paying off with like extra defined hair. I feel like with a gel that kind of already separates the hair and then just a little bit of lazy raking, I can get a pretty separated look, that it looks separated enough that I don't feel like I need more separation. So shingling, the girlies say it's time consuming, and I just feel lost. I just don't know what the heck I'm doing when I do it, and I'm like, okay, I'm just wasting time when I can get results without doing this. And this one, I know some people really feel strongly about this, but exclusively finger detangling. I do not exclusively finger detangle my hair. I used to, I did. And what happened was I started developing these little locks, okay? They were like the size of a pencil. It was made up of shed hair. And when I would be in the shower, like, you know, shampooing my hair and going about my business, conditioning and stuff, they would slide out and scare the living daylights out of me, and I would look down and there's this roll on the floor of my hair. So basically what was happening is I was not effectively removing all of my shed hair, and I introduced the brush back into my routine after I kept getting these, and I have not seen one since. So I know that that was an effect of exclusively finger detangling my hair. If finger detangling is effective for you, I'm not taking it away from you, but for me, it was not effectively removing all of the shed hair, and excess shed hair can just cause tangles, and plus it's just frustrating on wash day to have so much shed hair. It's a lot smoother when you don't have all the excess of shed hair. If you don't want to have a lot of shed hair on wash day, wash your hair more frequently, and then you won't have as much shed hair. But I have a feeling that my hair was probably building up from previous wash sessions and stuff, and just coming out at once when it was heavy enough to fall out of my hair. Did you see last week's video? This is actually day 6 of that same wash and go, and I think that it still looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that video over here so you can check it out. Subscribe. I post videos every week, and I'll talk to you in the next one.